fixing trip hazards. In this complex, there's multiple areas of sinking concrete, and it's created trip hazards, as you can see right here. These steps have sunk down where they meet the sidewalk, creating about an inch trip hazard. Traditionally, the only solution would be replacing it. And as you can see, there's a lot more work that goes into tearing out concrete and replacing it, especially in an area like this where there's really no access to get machinery in or anything else without tearing up the landscaping or other areas of concrete, just to fix one trip hazard right here. The other problem with a job like this, if this was a personal residence and not a major complex like this, most people would shy away from calling, because in order to replace this, they're going to have to spend entirely too much money. During winter time, when it snows or rains, and this would fill up with water and then freeze, then it could become a very serious hazard, because you would essentially be forming ice here. If it stays open, moisture will continue to work behind it and continue to promote long-term sinking. And you can actually see on the side here how as it goes down towards the ground, it gets closer to the block wall, which means it's sunk here and it's pivoting away from the wall. So when we lift this back up to eliminate the trip hazard, it will also close this gap back up. All of our work is done through hoses. It's done from the streets. No heavy equipment involved, no yard work. We drill a series of 1-inch holes right through the concrete, and then we hydraulically pump a limestone-based grout that we turn into a really thick slurry, and we pump it underneath the concrete. This grout spreads out, fills up any type of void that exists under the concrete, and once that happens, it pressurizes, and as we pump, it lifts. Now, as he fills that in, they'll move to the next hole, because as we lift this up, there's still a void underneath the entire thing. So we have to make sure that it's completely stable as we bring it up to prevent any cracking while we're doing it.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
Good.
See how convenient that is? We're actually working there and they just stepped right over. You know, if we had machinery in here ripping this out, there would be no entrance here. You would have to rip all this out, then reform it all, then re-pour it all, then finish it, and then let it cure for a minimum of 7 days. Especially in a situation like this, do you see anything physically wrong with the steps besides they were sunk? You know, the structure of the concrete is still good. You can actually see it coming right up. You see it?
Yeah. The one was about 3/4 of an inch, wasn't it?
And as it's doing that, it's even closing up the gap at the top.
Yeah.
So rather than having someone come in and tear this out and have downtime and construction and everything, he just managed to lift this entire thing up in 20 minutes.